After meeting the priest, I now have a different perspective about the origin and meaning what prasadam meant in the ancient days. But I am now going to another part of the temple, the Ayiramkal Mandapam, which literally translates to hall with 1,000 pillars, where I am going to meet Gopi Shankar. Gopi is one of the youngest and the first openly intersex and genderqueer candidates to contest the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly election. Gopi is the founder of Srishti Madurai Volunteer Movement. Gopi, you've been doing some path-breaking work around the LGBTI issues in Madurai, everywhere, but it started off in Madurai. Tell me about yourself.
It was started in 2011 in Madurai as Srishti Madurai Student Volunteer Movement. It was a student-based organization initially. It turned to be an international movement now.
What is it that inspired you to start?
One of my friend committed suicide actually. So having someone to talk can save a life, right? So we initially started it as a 24/7 helpline group. So we gave our own mobile number. We started offering counseling in different languages, what we know initially. Now we offer counseling in more than 8+ languages. And then we discovered there are like gender-specific rituals and how beautifully Hinduism accommodates them and Indian traditions see them. Whole of the term LGBTI itself is more American. Even before the term, we have the indigenous gender variants and identities.
Tell me about that. I'm very intrigued to know more about it.
We have Aravans from the Tamil Nadu. Like that we have Bachura Mata. You know, nowhere in the world you can see a temple specifically dedicated to transgender people, intersex people, or people who identify with diverse sexual identities or gender identities.
Sure.
Here, these temples exist even now. Our ancestors even designed these sacred spaces to kind of celebrate these diverse gender identities, to uplift their sanskaras. So apart from male and female and transgender people, we have more than 58 gender identities.
Oh, wow.
So Arjuni is a female form of Arjuna.
Okay.
It appears in Mahabharata. There are more than 150+ such sculptures. During invasion, many of them were destroyed, but some are still remaining. So you can see the Arjuna here with, breast with mustache.
One would never expect, or for that matter, even understand this, but this and Ardhanarishwara, of course, the mixture of Shiva and Parvati.
But even within the art forms, they give a space to accommodate such sculptures. Itself is something having the very kind of
very progressive for back then, because this is something like it stands the test of time today. And imagine if they had celebrated this and put it out as a sculpture, or rather how open-minded people were back then. Gopi, if you had to summarize Srishti in 3 sentences, what would that be?
3 sentences is respect for all forms of life is Srishti. And so she is the space which interrelates the connection between nature, human, and society. In Tirukkural, we say Palluyir Ombudal, which is, serving all forms of life without judging them.
Love all, serve all. That's the attitude. Gopi, I must say it's been a pleasure meeting you, talking to you, and just understanding your perspective, your thoughts, and how you have gone about doing this in a very, very nuanced way. May you continue to inspire people. You have already been doing that, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. The Meenakshi temple embodies the active continuation of an ancient set of religious and artistic traditions in southern India. I saw and experienced one temple today, but with 2 different perspectives. One was how the prasadams came into being, while the other is how the temple sculptures and scriptures can be a source of inspiration to fight for LGBTQI rights in the present time. The Meenakshi temple, which is more than 3,000 years old, is still so relevant, so ancient, but it will stay forever young. Rice emerged in India 14,000 years ago and with a simple variety. Farmers experimented and amplified the genetic diversity, and in the course of the last 10,000 years, there emerged 110,000 varieties of rice, for which only 6,000 survive now. For Sheila Balaji, chairperson and managing trustee of NGO Aim for Seva, she was deeply inspired by the rice story. So she not only grew these lost gems, but also made sure people could taste them and encouraged farmers to grow them once again.
The journey started because I found when I wanted to start farming, rice is the first thing which comes to people's mind because Tanjavur is known as the rice bowl of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
So when I started reading, then I found there is such a variety of rice Tamil Nadu had.
Yeah.
So when I started looking at different parts of India, we found there's more than 100,000 varieties, or that's what people say.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to find. And each rice had a certain variety because I started exchanging rice. Give
Sure.
one seed, get a seed. For example, I met Nel Jayaraman from Namarwar group.
Sure.
They called Save Our Rice campaign. And they asked me, they were having a festival. They wanted me to come and attend before I, went anywhere near it.
Yeah.
That was when I started. From 2013, 14, 15, 16,
Wow.
we conducted rice festivals in Manjagudi. We are growing about 6 varieties of black rice.
Of black rice alone.
Just 6 varieties.
I mean, this is not the Karuppu Kavani.
No, other than Karuppu Gavani, we have what they call as Tanjavur Karuppu.
Oh.
Then we also have Nya Cheik from Airavati Delta from Burma.
Oh, wow.
We have Chahao Poiritin from Imphal, Manipur. Then from Thailand, we have a variety called Kum. Then there is another variety from Maharashtra called Kalo Bhat. So, and each has a distinct taste.
Rice growing as a culture, right? So right from our Sangam times, there is all the varieties like Ottadai Samba, Kamban Samba, Kavidai Samba, Chadai Samba. You name it, it's there. It's such beautiful,
True.
evocative
True.
names. How do you think this culture of rice is in India?
If you take India and you sort of take it from East Madhya Pradesh, eastwards, right up to Japan, it's rice-eating countries.
Yeah.
You take from west of UP and going this far to California, it's wheat eating. So literally you can divide
By two.
the world into rice and wheat.
No. I think the kind of different varieties that you have showcased here, it's not something that is just South-centric, but you're bringing the culture of rice from all parts of India and sort of building an ecosystem for the farmers as well. So I would say that rice has finally found a voice through you.
Thank you.
Pleasure
I hope
meeting
so.
you. And I am going to go by your farm now and meet the farmers as well with your permission.
Please do.
So he sincerely appeals to people saying go back to organic farming and promote indigenous rice because every indigenous rice variety has a different medicinal benefit. நான் ஊருக்கு கொண்டு போறதுக்கு இப்பதான் அரிசி வச்சிருக்கீங்களா?
Ajara Gansal வச்சிருக்கோம்.
Ajara Gansal, acha. Okay, so this Ajara Gansal is a rice from Maharashtra. This is truly what I set out and I wanted to experience. Being in south of India, here they are cultivating a rice from Maharashtra.